I'm here with Heather Mills's body, and the reason why I'm showing this now, it's actually a piece that I finished a couple of months ago, and it's going to be in an exhibition next year up in London at Gallery Different in November of next year, with some other high profile people that I've called living legends. And I wanted to reveal it now just because there's, once again, Heather is in the press. She's she's withdrawn from going for Sochi. She was actually one of our most successful Paralympian skiers and recently won a silver medal for us in the Worlds. Last year she won 4 gold medals in America and has been training for a couple of years for this. So it's sad. She's withdrawn because the prosthetic limb that she was using apparently was outside the parameters of what's allowed within the sport, and I get the feeling from what I've heard that it wasn't dealt with necessarily that sympathetically, but anyway, she's left, and I'm sorry about that. I wanted to show this because she is somebody who gets a lot of negative press, or people tend to focus on certain aspects of her, and to be honest, if a high achieving sports person is getting annoyed that somebody is affecting their chances to achieve, it's not unusual if someone feels they've been treated unfairly. It's not unusual for people to lose their temper if she did. But my little bit of experience of how the press work with Heather is that things aren't always reported as matter of factly as they seem to be, and that things sometimes seem to be a little bit distorted. I'm trying to be careful how I say this. Anyway, what I wanted to do was show you this because I think that this, for me, sums up why it was a pleasure to work with her, and it was. Heather is one of the most supportive of my famous models. She's very down to earth, very easygoing. She's not a personal friend. She's somebody I approached and who offered to support me and help me. And she's great to work with. I think she's a very good power role as a woman. And she's somebody who's determined, and despite setbacks, despite even a setback like this, she will find a way of achieving and succeeding, because that's the way of what she does. That's why she carries on, because if she was put down by things going wrong or bad press or whatever, then she wouldn't have done nearly as much as she has. When I first started researching into Heather, it was because she was a sportswoman, and I do like working with sports people. They tend to be very comfortable with people working with their bodies, and if I'm going to be having someone here in their underwear or a swimming costume or whatever, and I'm slapping them with plaster, and obviously in sort of quite intimate areas with plaster, they have to be somebody who's comfortable with being touched, and because sports people work with a lot of physios, they're actually used to working with people, and they deal their body as their tool. It's their work tool. So it's really nice, very straightforward working with them. And with Heather, all she said was that it would be very nice for this to be related to her skiing, and that's something to do with the mountains in Austria, because she has a place there where she skis a lot. And so what I have are mountains. There's a mountain range running across here. I'm not sure how well you can see this because of reflections. I hope you can. Further mountains here. There's a hanging sort of, is it a vernacular? I don't know. A hanging ski lift. Cable car, that's the word, cable car. And then there's Heather here skiing. This is her prosthetic limb here. Heather's skiing there, and behind her are shapes, tracks left in the snow. Now when I was trying to work on the design for this, at the same time as working on this, I was doing a lot of research on Heather. I discovered that I hadn't known, but she was a Nobel Prize nominee, because she raised $20 million that helped to clear, I think it was 21 million square metres of landmines, and they reckon about 400,000 people benefited from that. She also was somebody who set up a business, I'm not sure it's a business, but anyway, she set up a charity that helped recycle prosthetic limbs to send them to parts of the world. So here, if you're a sports person or somebody else who wears prosthetics, something I hadn't realised is that the impact or the use of the prosthetic can affect the shape of the area that meets the prosthetic, and it gradually can, particularly if you're a sports person, it can pound your leg or your arm can pound against the prosthetic, and it can reshape the part of your limb. And in some cases, you gradually have to lose more and more of the limb because of the way it's been affected by the prosthetic. And each time the prosthetic needs to be recast and remade. And what happened before Heather got involved was that all of those was thrown away. And she decided to set something up whereby in the wealthier countries, when prosthetic limbs were just replaced, not because they've worn out, but because the person was sort of worn out a bit, then they could be sent off to parts of the world where people didn't have any prosthetics. And that's supposed to have given 400,000 prosthetic limbs to people in developing parts of the world where there is not enough money for them to have them otherwise. So that's brilliant. And so what I've done on here is, I mean, there are lots of other things. I mean, if you wanted to go and research her good works, go, because they're really impressive. But down her body, there are ski tracks. And what I did was, when I was researching for ski tracks, I thought it'd be good to have that. And I don't ski, unfortunately, because I've got a slipped vertebra, which means I can't do anything that's going to knock it hard. I looked up pictures, and my sister also used to ski, so I looked up pictures for my sister skiing. And quite often, on fresh snow, you'll get a couple of skiers who've skied like this and have left tracks like figure of eights going down a mountainside. And they're stunning, they're really beautiful patterns. So what I did was I copied these onto her stomach, from her chest down through to her stomach, so they look like tracks behind her. But actually, if you read them upwards, they are just lists of numbers. They're lists of, you know, the money raised, the people helped, in the case of helping to ban fur imported to Britain, the animals saved, and so on. They're just numbers and numbers and numbers, because I wanted to give an idea that she's somebody who's skiing on through life, but actually in her tracks are an incredible number of good works. And a lot of people who know her because of that side of her work find the other side, the way that she's reported, quite unbelievable, because she doesn't come across like that. If you work with Heather, if you do anything with her, I've found she's incredibly cooperative, very supportive, really helpful, full of great advice. And I actually changed my working practice, and it's helped balance my life more because as a result of her advice. And the other thing I forgot to say is that she runs 4 big businesses, and 80% of everything she earns and 80% of her business goes to charity. And I don't think there are many people who do that. Anyway, thank you for listening. Oh, quick tour round. So that's the stomach. Going on to her back, with the other sports, as with the other sports people, what I've done is I've carved a very stylised musculature into her back, because I want to do something that suggests stripping away the skin and looking through to the muscles, or looking through to the balance of the, you know, like these are very, I mean, the styles are not accurate, but it's a pattern form. But I wanted to suggest going in and sort of like the inner strength, but also like the inner beauty. Okay, I hope you like it. Right then, bye-bye.